Hi, everyone, and welcome to the FC podcast. This is season 1 of the FC podcast, and we are excited to partner with the prestigious FIFA Master Alumni Association to bring you some exclusive insights from some of the brightest minds that have gone through the FIFA Master from the Asia and Oceania region. Particularly, we're looking at football, but all sports are open, and we want to really get behind the scenes of how leaders within the region think about sport, sports business, and the future of sport. My name's James Kitching. I'm the Managing Director of the FC Sports that is bringing you the FC podcast. And I happen to also be an alumni of the FIFA Master, a 12th edition alumni from 2012. So today we are very honoured here to have the Deputy General Secretary and member of the AFC Women's Football Committee, Miss Mongoljingoo Sodgerel from the Mongolian Football Federation. And would like to jump straight in, Mongol. I'm going to call you Mongol for the rest of the conversation, given how we know each other. So tell us your name, your nationality, where you're from, your favorite football team, and anything else that you want to share from a personal perspective for the listeners.
Okay. Hi, guys. So nice to invite you to the wonderful podcast. So my name is Mongoljingoo. I'm from Mongolia, and then I'm the alumni of the 8th edition of the FIFA Master. And I work at the Mongol Football Federation as a deputy CS since last year, and I joined the federation over a decade. It's like almost a decade now. And my favorite football team is, of course, Mongolian national team. But frankly speaking, my husband is the hard or ultra fan of the Manchester United, but it didn't affect my choice of the fan of the club. So I'm the fan of the Leicester. So because of course, it's a FIFA Master, the location. So this is who I am.
Excellent. Well, we're going to have to kick you off if you continued with Manchester United. So Leicester City is an excellent choice. So producer Matt, who's in the background, is a Liverpool fan, and he was very angry when he heard Manchester United at the start. So look, thanks Mongol for joining us. It's a great introduction to get to know who you are and to understand how long you've been working in Mongolian football and Asian football. Maybe, if possible, you can bring us through your career from the start, before your time in football, how you came into sport, and then moving on to study the FIFA Master and where you are now. So over to
you. Actually, I hate the physical education, especially when I'm in my high school. I always just sit on the bench and wish that time is over. But after joining the University of Mongolia, I studied the linguistics and the translation of the English language to Mongolia. And at that time, when I was a sophomore year, I saw there was an announcement on the wall of my university, and I saw there was just a volunteer is needed. And it was the football match, especially announced by the Mongol Football Federation at that time. So I have zero experience, zero idea where the Mongol Football Federation is and what's the volunteer wanted means. And I asked my teacher, and then professor said, oh, yes, it's just a volunteer job and you can do it. And then that time I remember that I headed over to the secretary, that time, the secretary of the young lady, and I fill out the form and then want to be the volunteer. And later on, it was the FIFA World Cup qualification match, round 1 against the Filipino, so Mongolia and the Filipino match volunteer. And I jump into the volunteer in March of that time. And later on, I was so lucky that at that time, the director of the international relations, Miss Maya, recruited me, and she tested me and gave me the internship job. And later on, I joined the federation as the international relations department manager. And then so far, actually, that time I was thinking, okay, this is just the football federation and sports. This is too far. And then later on, it was like the time flies so fast. And then if I'm just look back and how long I spent, it's like I just close my eyes. But frankly speaking, it was almost like 12 or 13 years. It's like so quick. And then also the one of the biggest proud, and also I'm so happy and lucky, is that my husband is also the referee. He is a FIFA referee, and then we got a daughter. And then people joke with that. Okay, so they recently printed out my daughter's accreditation card for the Premier League, and then they said, okay, this is a FIFA family because mother is a FIFA master and the husband is a FIFA referee, so daughter must be in the FIFA accreditation card. It's granted. So this is the kind of the journey that I spent with my partner, with my husband, and also in the Federation headquarters.
Amazing. That's such an amazing story. And I'm sure your daughter will be the captain of the women's national team in the future then, given her pedigree. So in the middle of those 12, 13 years, you decided to move to Europe and study the FIFA Master. And explain why, explain how that has helped you now in the position of Deputy CEO or Deputy Secretary General, as we say in football. But for those who maybe don't know football, that means Deputy CEO in the corporate world. So it's not common, I think, for someone in a role to stop for a year and then go and study and then go back to the same role. Please explain.
Yeah. Until like spending a few years at the same time, at the same position, at the same workplace environment, it was just like thinking about who I am and what should we do and what's the benefit I gain from this workplace. And then that time, 2016, end of the 2016, I was thinking, judging myself, how's my progress, what is my future, etc. And then I criticized myself a lot that, okay, maybe I need to move something and do something. And I saw there's an advertisement on the little bit the corner of the website. And then it says, okay, this is a FIFA Master. And then I saw there's a alumni picture and it was like so diverse. And then I check if there's any Mongolians joined and there's no one. And I encourage myself, okay, maybe who knows, I would join. I will be the first Mongolian national team, maybe open the door for Mongolians who really want to maybe sports, the career and qualification, they are carry on. And I applied, but I didn't expect that I would join, I would be accepted. And then spring of the 2017, I accepted the letter from the CS and I was shocked, because I didn't inform about it to my president, GS, etc., my management team, because I was the international relations who was doing the main the project, the international project, so fully focused on my work, so quite a busy schedule. But suddenly I received the acceptance letter and I needed to show it to my GS. And so it was kind of shocking news for everyone. And the schedule was like to study since the September of 2017. So the April is the acceptance letter. I have just 5 months to arrange everything, to find the replacement in my work, etc. And it was quite tough for me to decide everything so quick. But after spending a few months in Europe and to have more nice friends and classmates and to meet a lot of the professors and changing the environment and to move my nose into close to the football, the works, it was so excellent and so, I would say, brainstorming and eye-catching. And it was very helpful for me because I networking of the FIFA Master and in the sports industry, it helped me back into my work after studying the FIFA Master.
Good. Amazing. So you went from no interest in sport to an internship in translation and then international relations and then running international relations, studied for a year, you come back and since last year, the middle of last year, you've been promoted to be the Deputy CEO of the Federation. So what does that look like for you on a daily basis? What is the Deputy CEO of a football federation in Asia do? I imagine it's probably very different every day.
Since having a new management team in the federation since last July, we decided to have a new structure and new long-term strategic updated long-term strategic planning and kind of the new policy. And I'm more in charge of the finance operation and also the international projects. So until being appointed as a deputy CEO of the federation, I gained a lot of the experience practically and theoretically. So I got, okay, this is the big orientation. This is how is the other federations work. This is what is the highly developed countries policies working on. What is the achievement main policy, etc. I learned a lot from those neighborhood member associations through my networking of my work and as well as the FIFA Master. So I used to work at the international relations level. That position just limited my capacity and also the limiting the have to say decision making level. But once I got that level, that what I can do is that I can change something properly based on my experience on the table as being the deputy GS. So since I appointed the deputy GS, now it's like almost half year, and I have now decided to re-put the bricks of the wall again and again. And then I really want to focus on the fundament of my brick must be so clear and proper, no any, the different angle and shapes. So this is my main focus, and then assisting my new GS to move forward, to move that football forward, moving, because no matter who you are, if you are in the federation, it doesn't matter who you are, but the football must carry on. So that's why everyone is actually trying to put all the efforts on the table.
Great. Before I ask you about your leadership style, maybe you can tell our listeners and actually our viewers, because we are filming a video as well. You can tell them just a little bit about the federation, how many people work there, what your main functions are, supporting the national teams, how the structure is with the professional league. I think that would be interesting to everyone who's tuned in.
We increased the number of the people working full-time employee in the MFF since the last July. So we decided to focus on the more technical aspects, and we updated our long-term strategic planning. So we are more focused on the youth football and women's football, because so far we always focus on the mature, the mass national team, mass football.
Yes.
We didn't achieve what we expect. So especially last October, we played against the Afghanistan for the FIFA World Cup qualification round match, but we lost because last 10 years, this is the second time playing against Afghanistan, but again, we lost. So that's why the public and the community of the football criticize a lot. Of course, from the inside of the federation, we also criticize ourselves because, comparing to the other neighborhood countries and also experience what we must achieve is not fulfilled. So it was the brainstorming. We did the reform, kind of the platform to understand, to listen to everyone's voices, and we updated the long-term strategy planning, and we set the mission as to qualify to the next round of the youth tournament by 2032. So according to the new updated long-term strategy planning, we all our federation, the department and units set the goals, and then so within at least 4 years, we must our main focus will be technical aspects, especially more on the academy and youth football. So, and of course, we never forget about the women's football because this is the new steps. So it's kind of the bud of the flower at the moment. So this is the management team's policy.
Right. It must be difficult for your youth teams being in East Asia with such heavyweights, playing around you, Japan, Korea Republic, China, etc. How do you face that challenge? How do you lead a team knowing that those countries have such significant resources, and how do you motivate your team to keep going to follow that strategy?
So it's pity that the East Asia is too diverse. So comparing to the ASEAN zone, they are so competitive and the performance of the each member association is so close. But in East Asia, too diverse, I would say, like top few teams and emerging member associations and like us.
Emerging, yes.
So it's quite complicated for us. Of course, we always look at on the top, but this is I would say this is not possible in short term for us to be keep up with them. So of course, but we could not change the geographic except the Kazakhstan, I would say. So but of course we try to keep move forward.
Right. And in terms of Mongolian football, so who are the main stakeholders you deal with? Who are the, in different countries, it might be professional leagues or clubs or the Players Association or the government or however the case might be. So in Mongolia, and in your role, who are the main stakeholders that you have to deal with?
Actually, the Premier League of Mongolia has been organized separately since this year. And league is going to be hosted separately NGO. So this is our main stakeholder. And also the government is important because we saw the challenges past and also knowing that, only individual NGO could not develop the football in Mongolia whole nationwide, individually. No matter if we get the support from the FIFA and AFC or other member associations. But we recently saw the Indonesia, the government has already built such a gigantic the stadium just a few months. It's unbelievable, and also the government is supporting, like hosting the phenomenon event so easily. So that's why our focus is that. To get the support from the government and to at least to build the big stadium together. Because in Mongolia, all nationwide, we have just the one single stadium run by the government, which has the capacity of just a small community. So it's shameful for us. So there's
an infrastructure challenge for you then in Mongolia. It sounds like, yeah. And the league being separate this year for the first time, what kind of challenge does that present you now in your role? Because I imagine previously there was a lot of liaison with the league and the league was inside the federation, but now it is commercially and operationally separate. How does that change the federation's operations?
Yeah, the big challenge is the finance because we are only dependent on the FIFA's and the AFC support, financial support, but we have our own the community, and we must also subsidize our clubs, players, and all the Mongolian local community to subsidize them. But only the financial source could not, they have to say, to be enough for us to run our operation. So it's in broad mind, the Mongolia is too much dependent on the mining, but in smaller the Football Federation is also the support too much dependent on the FIFA and AFC. So that's why our top management team decided to find more source and to find more platform where we can get the benefit and generate the income, and to using the generate income and later we can invest back to the football. At least providing the financial support to our clubs, players, and province football associations, because Mongolia is too isolated from everyone. For example, if I want to travel to the western province, I fly by at least 3 hours from here to that province. But if I fly to the Beijing, it's just 2 hours. So depending on the geographic the differences, and we must have in a more investment, and this is the big challenge for us.
Understood. Yeah, especially when you commercially separate the league from the federation. Definitely there's a gap there which needs to be filled. So all the best with that one. I was going to ask you your biggest challenges, but you hit on that one straight away. Obviously, commercial is such a big challenge for many federations across Asia and Oceania. Let's talk about some future trends very quickly in the last 5 or 6 minutes that we have. And I know that you're a member of the AFC Women's Football Committee, and you mentioned already women's football being a focus of the new strategy of the Mongolia Federation. Tell us about your experiences working in international women's football, particularly in the AFC Women's Football Committee, and how you implement those goals in Mongolia. I presume I've got written down here we're going to talk about future trends. I presume that is one of the future trends that you can see in the sports industry.
The gender equality is so important, especially on the football, because I was so glad to attend in the first AFC Women's, the first committee meeting, which was hosted in the Sydney during the FIFA Women's World Cup last year. And I watched the final, and also I was so, have to say, that the impressing to be the victim of such a big phenomenon. And then there's a sentence said by the James Johnson during the convention. He said that we will not say the football as men's and women's. We would say football. So this sentence so touching my heart, and then have to say, open my mind, saying, okay, look at the seat at Australia. They say, okay, so there is no differences like gender equality, and in terms of the finance, in terms of the physics, also in terms of the, the performance on the pitch is like unbelievable, equal to the mass one. But compared to Mongolia, the women's football in Mongolia is so chic, and it's just emerging and a developing stage. But in the global wide, I learned as being the member of the AFC Women's Committee, I have, it's a totally, I have to say, it's totally different environment, totally, the topic, different topic. Maybe just a few years ago, if we say like women's football globally, people would say, okay, that the hijab ladies could not play the football or women's football, or people would say that. But now women's football is rapidly changing and being almost same as the men's football. So maybe I predict that in 4 years, at least 4 years, people will not say women's football or men's football. People would say football. This is
Amazing.
what it's about.
Amazing. Well, we'll mark that down as a future trend, and we'll call you up in 4 years and see if that's come true. To finish, it'd be great to hear from you about maybe the biggest lessons that you've learned over the last 12 or 13 years working in international sport, and if there is any wisdom you can give to people who have tuned in, either if they want to work in the sports industry, or maybe someone is at the point of their career where they want to make the next step, or they are looking for a sideways move, like you decided to go and do the FIFA Master. The biggest lessons that would be super.
I'm also voluntarily member of the Blind Football Federation in Mongolia, because one of my friend who is the referee of the Premier League he accidentally became the blind and visually impaired, and then because of this accident he was discriminated from the society as not being the normal person, and then he created the Mongolian Blind Football Federation, and then I help the team sometimes. And then I observed that the football can change the society and the way of people, and also mental health. So on the case of this, some projects working with the blind football, I understood that football is not just a sport or just a physical education, the hate subject. It's kind of the tools and platform to change the people's communication and conversation. Even it can change their mental differences between normal or just the people who need the help. So this is the biggest lesson I learned in my last, the football career in my life. So I will always try to give impact of the football to everyone who is outside or inside or on the pitch. So this is the biggest lesson I learned from the FIFA Master and also as my working career.
That's amazing. The beautiful game personified right there. Well, Mongol, thank you so much for your time. I know you're very, very busy. We're recording this on a Friday evening in February. So no doubt you are extremely time poor given all the international windows coming up soon and everything else that's happening around the place. So thank you very much for your contribution and participation, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thanks so much, guys. And also, I'm so happy to be the one part of your podcast and to share my experience, and then lovely to talk with you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mongol.
Bye-bye.